Merry Christmas, everybody. It's the 25th of December, 2020. I'm Scott Allen Miller. This is Sheep Guarding Llama, and I am recording this in the new year because I never get time. Oh, great. Great, Mia. Thank you. I never get time to do videos during the holiday season. It's just, there's no way. Right? We're so busy, and we're out of town, and we're with family all the time. I have nowhere to go to record videos and no time to do it. So there's no possibility. So it is now the second week of January, and I'm getting caught up on all the videos, and it just happens to be snowing, so it is a perfect day for a white Christmas video. You can see my breath. It's quite cold out here. Of course, it did not snow on Christmas Day, especially not in Houston, where we celebrate it. It was chilly, but not so much that you needed a sweater. So Christmas Day, we had our normal festivities. We start the day with breakfast. There's tea ring and a blueberry cobbler sort of thing, and lots of cookies and coffee, and the adults do that for a little while. Then the kids come down and discover the house full of presents, as they do every year, and it's like a big thing, and they text us. Chana is Snapchatting me from upstairs, like, hey, we're awake, can we come down? Wait, Liesel's not awake. No, we gotta wake her up. Right, and that goes on for a while, and then we finally let them come down, and it's a big thing, and then it takes about half an hour, maybe an hour, before we actually start opening presents. And then it goes on for a while. It's quite a process. We spend the whole day doing that. There's really no reason to recount all of the items that are acquired through Christmas. It is such a big thing that it would take forever, which is kind of unfortunate because it's going to be very hard for the kids in the future to remember what they got different years or to associate. But the big ticket item for this year, hello little puppy, little dog's jumping on my lap as I do this. The big ticket item for this year is the girls together got the Nintendo Switch gaming console, which is about 4 years old at this point. It is the one that you can use it as a handheld for a single player, and it's got its own built-in pretty nice screen, pretty big screen. It's like a giant phone or a small iPad kind of thing with game controllers on the sides, but it also has a unit that attaches to a TV, and you just take your game console and set it into that, and it turns to the TV and becomes a traditional game console. So it's this portable thing, hence the name Switch, and while that may seem like a silly thing, overall I do not like game consoles, and I really don't like Nintendo ones, but this particular feature is fantastic, because with consoles you often want to be portable, and have to give that up to have a serious console. For the first time you have one that's portable and able to play on the TV. Of course, to do that, it only has the power of a portable, and even for that, it's not very powerful, so you definitely have compromises, but it's a pretty neat kind of system, and the kids really only have it not because that's something they need or that the range of games that they're looking for is on there. It's because of one specific game, which is Animal Crossing, which has been the big thing for the year. We know lots of people who have that and play it extensively, and it is exclusive to the Switch. There's no way to have it without it, and in fact, for both girls to have their own game on it, they actually have to have two Switches. Nintendo has gone dramatically out of their way to make sure you have to spend a lot of money to play that game. Anything else, you don't need that. It's that one specific game, and they got a Animal Crossing version of the Switch. It's not different, it's just styled like that, but it's pretty neat. I mean, they're very excited about that. They did get a few other games, but the Switch actually has almost no video games for it. The total catalog is very small, and the number of games that are new for the Switch or designed for it almost don't exist. So they got Mario Kart 8, which they already had on the Wii U, so it's just the Switch version, so they can play it now, because we don't have the Wii U hooked up anywhere. They got a couple Pokemon games that are either new to the Switch or revamped for the Switch, and in theory there's some coming in the future, and they do really like Pokemon, so we do foresee that being played a bit, and we are most likely going to be looking at some Fire Emblem games, because they have been making those for the Switch. But there is no Mario game for the Switch, there is no Zelda game for the Switch, not that any of those are things we would play, but none of those have been made for the Switch at all at this point. The Switch is basically just a throwback console, even though it's one of the best-selling consoles Nintendo's ever had. Nearly every title for it is simply a re-release from a previous console. There's just nothing new. So if you've played those games before, you would have to play them again, and almost all of them we have played before. So that is a bit of a negative. In theory, one or two big titles will come out over the next few years for it, but the total catalog that you would be interested in is actually just a handful of games. Now, the couple things that we did get, we did go into the online store and grab a couple of things, Snippet Clips or something like Snipper Clips. Luciano was really interested in, which is kind of a action puzzle game, which is interesting. And they do have Just Dance 2021, which they like, as it gets them up and gets exercise and stuff. And there's one or two titles that we're interested in looking into. There's an RPG that makes you exercise as you play. It's $80 though. Every game on this system starts at $60 and goes up, right? So the cost of a game on this is absurd. We're used to Steam, where we get most of our games for a couple dollars, and if we're really splurging, 12 is kind of the absolute top. Here, there's one or two games on huge sale. They might come down to 30 under really specific circumstances for a third-party indie game. Every major game is at 60. Maybe we'll get discounted down to 50, and some of them are 80 or higher. So it's mind-blowing how expensive it is, especially considering the hardware for this is something like 8 years old. The Switch is 4 years old, but it's not a new console. It's the NVIDIA Shield, which we owned for years and threw away because it was such garbage. It was just the NVIDIA Shield repackaged with new controllers and a new screen and stuff under the Nintendo brand. So the Switch, being 4 years old, wasn't even new when it first released, and it was a big joke when it first came out that it had these problems. So that part's frustrating, but what's important is we got it just for Animal Crossing, and we knew that it was worth the incredible investment just so that Animal Crossing could be played, because it's such a big thing. So the girls got it, their cousins got it, their grandparents got it, so there's 3 Switches in the family already. And of course, maybe there will be more in the future. There's also the Switch Lite, which costs less, but it doesn't hook to a TV. And boy, are we all glad none of us got that, because hooking it to the TV is the way you really use it. The portable thing is actually the uncommon way to use it, at least when you have people together. Already that the girls have been using it, mostly they're not hooking it to a TV. Half the time they don't even have it hooked up so they can use it on a TV. So maybe over time it'll become almost entirely a portable platform, but all the 2-player games, all the party games, the multiplayer puzzle games, and things like Just Dance, you gotta have the TV. So we will see. In theory, they can play online with their cousins, but I don't know if they've even done that yet now, 3 weeks later. I'm not sure they've done it once, I'll have to ask, but I'm not aware of them having done so at all. The games that are available on it are so not conducive to playing. Like, the only games that really grab their attention at all is Animal Crossing and Pokemon. Their cousins don't have Pokemon, and the Animal Crossing playing online isn't really that big of a deal. It's really a single-player game for the most part. So I'm not sure that's much of a big deal at all. They did get loads of other stuff. There were a number of Legos, and especially for Chana. Chana is really into Legos, and she's the perfect age for it. She is so good at building them. That is a big thing for her, and a lot of art stuff. And, of course, all the adults got alcohol. I got Dominica a Port Charlotte 10-year, which is the scotch from the Hulu documentary that we watched. It is their top peated scotch that they make. Unfortunately, the bottle was leaking, so we had to return it and get a new one. But we did get that. Anyway, that was our Christmas. We spent Christmas night pretty much hooking up Switches and getting games downloaded and trying to get accounts working and everybody playing that stuff. So we were very busy with that on Christmas Day, as we always do. There's always like a game console or something that requires a lot of work. All right, well, Merry Christmas, everybody. We'll see everybody tomorrow on Boxing Day.